Hey up guys, welcome back to Piggy Pen's Tube, where today I have a couple of flip throughs for you. Just a bit of background as to why I've selected these two books for a flip through. I've always enjoyed messing about with watercolours on and off since my college days. When I say on and off, every 10 years or so I get an urge, buy a set. For example, this is a little field kit I bought about 10 years ago. And I've done no watercolour pictures with it. But I've got the urge again, and very early on in my colouring journey, I bought some watercolours, these ones here, and I use them. I use watercolours now and again in my colouring books, and most recently I used watercolours successfully in Symphony of Cute Animals when I did that double page Halloween party spread. That was all watercolour, and even a lot of the detail in it was watercolour, and I only used pencil on top where I felt necessary. So I would like to do that a little bit more, but I've nothing against sort of trying out watercolour on colouring pages. But it is nice to think that we now have colouring books that are geared directly to watercolour. So I've decided it's something I certainly want to do more next year when I've caught up with my great big 2025 end of year goal. So in preparation, I've bought these two books, which are both wonderful. This one's a little smaller than I expected it to be. So I thought I'd show you both of them today because I've certainly not seen a lot of flip throughs, and I think because it's French, this one I found it quite difficult to find a flip through. So I thought I'd do one for you. If you fancy watercolours on colouring pages, but you want to get your watercolour confidence before you start arguing with some of the paper in colouring books that isn't specifically watercolour, some easy wins, I guess, would be to use proper watercolour paper, which these two books contain. So I'm going to give you little flip throughs today. These are just some of my watercolour media. So I've got this little field painting kit that I can use if I want to. This is by Daler-Rowney. Yes, it is. I don't know whether these are still sold. You would, I suppose, a quick look on Amazon or Google would tell you that, but they're an ideal size for somebody who might just want to try out watercolor. It's got the little loop on the bottom to put your thumb through, so it's like a palette, you know, so you can be all French. Ho ho ho. I love the French. There's that. I treated myself to some nice brushes recently, but you can get lots of decent brushes at all different budgets online. These are Princeton artist brushes in the Neptune range. Our thirstiest brush, it says. So I got some Archer's proper watercolour paper before I went on holiday to Norfolk, and I managed to get one painting done, but I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, that's my choice of brushes, but they have brushes for all budgets. When I decided what watercolours I wanted, I didn't really need to go for these. These are an excellent brand, it's Schminke, and these are the Horadam watercolours. And I think it's 24 half pans that I've got. And you don't need, there's lots of great watercolours down the lower end. I had loads in my basket around the £30, £40 mark that gave me 24 colours or more. Paul Rubens is a great brand, and there's lots of other brands. You just have to watch YouTube videos and see what people are using. But I went for these ones because I'm getting on a bit now. I don't want to buy twice. I just want to buy once. I did my reviews, and these had great reviews, so I thought I'd buy them. You don't need to spend this amount of money. These were over £100, I think, for 24 half pans. But you can absolutely get cheaper and great watercolours for a lot less money than that. Alright, so they're my watercolours, and then these are probably my favourite. I use these on more colouring pages than any other watercolour. These are Clare's Pearl Colours, and they've got all sorts of ranges of these. That's the Paradise range there, and the Vintage range, and this is the Gold and Silver range. So yes, I love all these watercolour products. I have some watercolour pencils as well. In fact, That's not what I'm thinking of for these books, but this was a field kit I think I bought at some point when I thought I was gonna. And you know what? I don't even remember buying this, but I've had it. I've moved house a lot, me, in my life. 19 times as an adult I've moved house. But I do remember I pack this field kit up. Every time I move, it goes with my art stuff and my craft stuff. I can't even remember buying it. It must have been college time maybe. But it's got some Faber-Castell aquarelle, art grip aquarelle, triangular pencils. And I've got 5 Albert Duras in there. But I don't know where I've got them from either. But yeah, so that's another watercolour. I've got, oh, this is an Inktense. I got a pencil in my Inktense set that wasn't what it said. This is light, it says light olive. But it's actually green aquamarine or something like that. But they kindly replaced it for me, so I've just popped this in here. The one that I don't need, that's wrong. So yes, that's my watercolour media. And now I'm going to give you a lovely flip through of these books. After I've told you a little bit more about them, let me just move my media to one side. A brief interlude here while I say hello to a few people who spotted a little, not so much an Easter egg, but they spotted something in my last video, so it means that they get hello. So for those guys, hello and welcome back. So this is an official shout out to KP Colours, Lucy Fox Arts, Kazzy G, Care Bear, Hollyberry Colours, Nikki Juanel, Louise Shabane, Marge Wong, Yara Veloza Teixeira, I hope I said that right, Yara Veloz Teixeira, it's a beautiful name, and awesome, beautiful Dory. So, hi guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video and thanks for staying till the end last time. Appreciate it. Alright then, so up first I'm going to talk a little bit about Woodland Watercolour, a colouring workbook by Clare, Therese, Gray. It's printed on premium 200 GSM watercolour paper, this book. And first of all I want to show you the size of it because it was smaller than I expected. It was thicker than I expected. Remembering that's watercolour paper. But it is smaller than I expected, so let me get you something to compare it to. If you have Wild on Nature, it's a little smaller than that. And let's see, a book size that everybody's familiar with. How about Magical Worlds? There you go. Alright, so I thought it was going to be a little larger, but that's your size. Let's have a look at the measurements. Look at me becoming a pro at flip throughs, eh? So that is 20, just short of 23 centimetres by 19 centimetres. It's not a bad size, just smaller than I was expecting. Take a look at this beautiful cover. It feels like watercolour paper, the cover as well, very matte. It's got that little, you can feel the texture of it. And the back. Paint your way through enchanting forest or high quality watercolour paper. This is the first of this type of book, I think, from Clare Therese Gray. She's got another one, either it's just come out or it's out. The other one features more jungly, tropical animals, I think. Rainforest, that's what it is, I'm sure of it. So I decided to go for the original one to start with. I'm very fond of English woodland and things like that. So the first lovely thing about this book is you get lots of great information. It's got some coloured pages in the front, which will give you a great, a little bit of inspiration as well. 2023 it came out, so it's not a new book, as I say. Little introduction, some information on supplies, what Clare recommends, some basic painting techniques, wet on dry, wet on wet, layering, blending, colour mixing, some information on the colour wheel. The first thing I did when I got my watercolours was paint a colour wheel in my new watercolours. I think that's a really good exercise for you to do, and that's just above where I'm stood on my shelf over my desk. how to build up layers and washers. It's a lovely part of the book, this. Choosing colours. She's even got a bit on watercolour pencils in there. Techniques for using this workbook. This is fantastic. And getting started with the workbook. And then adding some details as well. She talks about that. And here's the first page. All the illustrations go right to the edge of the paper. And they're obviously one-sided. And I think you can see the texture of the paper there. If I bring it up really slow. Give the camera time to focus. It's lovely, lovely watercolour paper. 200 GSM, as I said. So yeah, I'm going to flip through it now, and I'm going to leave you with some lovely music appropriate for a beautiful woodland. And I'll speak to you some more at the end. Don't forget, we've got the other book coming up straight after this one, so don't go away. I shall be back at the end of this flip. So there you go. That was a little look through Woodland Watercolour, a colouring workbook by Clare Therese Gray, and I think that's gorgeous. I'm going to really enjoy doing little bits and bats in that. A great way to cleanse the palette after like a heavy precise pencil page. You can whip this out, get your little watercolour palette, and have a little bit of a de-stress, maybe splashing some watercolour about. I think that's lovely. Can't wait to get started in it. Like I say, I'm saving a lot of my personal goals until next year, you know, things that I want to do, and bringing more into my colouring until next year, because I've got a big project on at the moment with my untouched books. But yeah, I can't wait to get to that. And then next we have this one, which is Beautiful Houses of France. I don't want to, I think it's Jolies Maisons de France would be how you would say it. That's how I would attempt to say it anyway. This is by Sarah Piro, Coloriage and Aquarelle. So I think is that colour and water or water and colour? 22 pages for you to colour, I think that says, and it's a Marabou book. Let's just pull you out a touch. There we go. And this is slightly different. It's a little bigger. So let's first of all talk about size and what we're all familiar with. How about an RJ book? So it happens to be the exact same size as an RJ book. So there you are. The paper itself is, let's see if it tells us about the paper. Not on the back, but that's a lovely example of what we're going to get inside. That's like an extra cover. Yeah, I'm just seeing if all the paper is this thick. Yes, it is. So these beautiful houses of France, I think, actually exist. Is the words on the back in English or French? I'll have to get this translated. If I do, I'll pop it on the screen. But I believe these are actual houses in France. And just like Clare's book, we've got the same from Sarah. Lots of good information. It's obviously in French, but you can translate it quite quickly now with the help of Google and certain apps. But then we're straight in to the houses. And unlike the other book, you've got an example. So if you're just starting out with watercolour, this is brilliant. If you lack a little bit of colour confidence, or you lack a little bit of watercolour confidence, this just gives you everything you need, all the tools you need. But if you're like me, and I work better under no pressure. So the way I remove the pressure is I'll cover that up. And I won't feel too intimidated by it then. We all work differently. Some people will love that. Some people will not want to see it. Some people might be really creative and like to do their own thing. Or two, I just think, oh, mine's never going to look as good as that. So I just like to cover it up. And I find I actually do better work when I don't feel like I'm comparing myself. That's just me. But how beautiful have those been coloured? I just love the style. I'm assuming Sarah Piro herself has done these. So yeah, it is stunning. And like I say, it is only 22 pages, but when if you're studying watercolour, this will feel like a full course of practices, won't it? Plus the houses are absolutely stunning in it. So I'm going to give you another little proper flip through now, and then I'll meet you back here when I've finished. It won't be long, it's only 22 pages. Alright, here we go.
Ô Paris, lumière sacrée, sous tes étoiles, je veux rester. La la la, douce clarté, ma belle Paris, pour l'éternité. Sous le ciel brillant, ma ville respire. Les étoiles dansent, la scène chaque éclair en doux secret, chaque pont s'ouvre au cœur discret. Tour Eiffel dorée, flamme levée, ma belle Paris, tu es étoilée. Oh Paris, oh Paris, Paris, oh Paris, oh Paris.
And let me just show you a close-up of the line work. Beautiful, nice and pale. So the opposite to Claire's line work in that book I've just shown you. This has got really delicate light line work, so you can end up with a result like this. Fantastic. I think it's a stunning book. Let me also give you an idea on the texture on the paper. I can't find where it tells me the paper thickness, but it's definitely good quality watercolour paper. Yeah, let me bring in that other book. I bought both of these from Amazon UK. They're both just under £20. And that you might think, ooh, £20. Watercolour paper is expensive. Good watercolour paper is expensive. So I think if you're looking at like 20 pieces of watercolour paper, plus the illustration and the guide to watercolour in the front of each, I think it's an absolute bargain. They're well worth the money, in my opinion. So yeah, you've got 22 in that. I don't know how many pages were in this, but more than 22, I think. Does it say on the back? No. But yeah, plenty of pages in that one, 22 in this one. And they're just beautiful books. Now, I said I got them both from Amazon UK. They both took a little longer to come. So this one came in normal Amazon packaging. This one came in Lyrica packaging, which means it's come from Lyrica. So if you can't find them on Amazon, this one looks, when you first search for it, it looks like it's out of stock. But then when you click on it, it shows you, options. And I went for the new option. I think it was £18 something. So try Amazon UK if you want. But just pop them in Google, because you can get them through other websites anyway. So certainly Lyrica, because this is a French book. And yeah, I'm delighted with them. This one came a few days ago, and this one came today, and I'm really chuffed, and I'm excited for 2026, when I really hope to develop my own colouring, and I'm going to start by gaining some confidence with watercolour on proper paper, and then I'm going to obviously move on to doing more watercolouring, normal colouring books, which takes a little bit more thought and hard work, I think, because we're not dealing with normal watercolour paper in those books. So I thought I'd get some confidence with watercolour in general with these first. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this flip through. Two gorgeous books that I haven't tried yet, but believe me, the first time I try anything in these books, you'll be getting a video about it. Alright, ta-da for now!